Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong. We try to isolate an aspect of the race that might be a path to finding the winner. Well, Sunday racing, a mix of all weather and turf as we lead into next week's big international week before the QE2 Cup, but there are still winners to find this week, and the first race we're going to take a look at is race 8, where our winning factor is the tempo. So a decent style of class 3 here, 1200 metres, and I think there will be fans of horses like Good Buddy and Brave Dreams up the top of the weights. Wonder Kit, a beaten favourite last time out, Zac Purton's Mount Noble win, and a talented horse we haven't seen for a while in a race, Midori Beauty. And Wonder Kit, Good Buddy and Brave Dreams all came through the same recent race, so I think we have to look at that as a key form aspect for this. Let's take a look at how they went. So this is race 547, Good Buddy's in red colours from gate 3, and he's allowed to find his feet early. Wonder Kit pushes forward from gate 6 in green and yellow colours, and we see a great winning ride from Matthew Chadwick on Brave Dreams, gate 10, pink colours with white sleeves, and he goes back early, finds the rail and only leaves it briefly to come around a tiring leader at the 200 metres. Now, critical to this result is the fast early speed, and you can see in the early stages the favourite Wonder Kit was one of those burning in the first few hundred metres before easing out of that particular war, but some damage has been done. Good Buddy and Brave Dreams, they're together back in the field at the top of the straight. Good Buddy's held up briefly before running on for third. Brave Dreams goes through to win, and the early effort tells on Wonder Kit in the final 150 metres. Well, you weren't happy if you backed the 2.3 favourite Wonder Kit there, but I do think there were some excuses. Now, those three are top chances in this race, but there's another horse coming from left field, if you like, as a chance in the race. He's a horse that we haven't seen for a while, at least in a race, and that's Midori Beauty. Now, he's only had 7 starts in Hong Kong. Sad stories for 6 of those, and the other one was his most recent, back in January, when he was eased out of the race and allowed to just coast home. So all probably not well with him there. He's had a break since. He's had 2 trials, and we're going to take a look at the latest of his 2 barrier trials. He's in light green here, gate 3, and for reference, another runner from the race on Sunday, Rev Parisian, is in dark green and blue colours here from gate 5. Now, trials can be misleading for a lot of reasons, but this trial looks a good guide. It's well run throughout, returning good times and sectional times, and Midori Beauty throws his head up at the jump, but otherwise behaves well, which has been a problem with him in the past. Then when Matthew Chadwick goes for him, he applies himself well and sprints clear at the finish for an impressive win. So he comes back from his holiday, fresh, looking ready to go. And I guess the only negative you'd take from that trial was the way he threw his head up in the air at the start. That can be a thing with him, and if he does that here, it would be important, as this looks the wrong sort of race to be slow at the start. There's a lack of lead pressure here that really sticks out. Now, quite a few of these runners are slow starters. Quite a few more lack early speed, even if they do jump cleanly. And even Rev Parisian, a regular front runner in his Hong Kong career so far, has had a change of trainer, so we don't know whether new tactics will be employed on him. And he wasn't asked to lead in that trial that we watched. I won't be surprised if there's a more positive ride on Good Buddy this time in the circumstances of the race, but overall the forward pressure that we saw as a factor in Wonder Kit's defeat as favourite last time does not look to be here this time. So the tip in race 8 from me is Wonder Kit. His winning factor, the tempo. Yes, he let the side down a little bit as a favourite last time, but there was plenty of pressure early. He spent his petrol keeping up with the leaders in the early stages, and I think this time with a slower tempo he'll be able to keep more energy for the end of the race that pays. The other race I'm taking a look at is race 10, where our winning factor is the Hot Yard. Now, this is our highlight race of the day, the Class 2 over 1800 metres, and features a number of runners returning from the Derby, including good chances like Sweet Encounter, Straight Aaron and Sword Point. Bourbon Air was back to form last start when second over 1600 metres, And the two last start winners in the race are the likely leader Champion Dragon and Alacrity from the Jamie Richards yard. Now, the first horse to come out of the Derby and return to the races was a winner encountered at Happy Valley just over a week ago, and he finished 9th in the Derby. So I guess if you're of that kind of mind, you might say that that affirms the Derby form. I'm not so sure, but anyway, we're going to put attention here on a replay of the Derby with special attention on the horses that finished 5th, 6th and 7th. Straight Aaron, Sword Point and Sweet Encounter, and there's not much between them at the finish. So this is race 509, inside to out, Sweet Encounter, purplish colours, gate 2, Sword Point, yellow and green, gate 6, and Straight Aaron, gate 10, mainly orange colours. And the heat map is revealing here, as this was really a 1200 metre race with an 800 metre run-up. And one of the early sectionals was 7.5 lengths slower than average. Now, Straight Aaron gets a great ride from Blake Shin to find the rail early, never goes around a horse. Sweet Encounter also gets a sweet run through the race before a slight hold up in the straight, while Sword Point looks keen to go faster during the run, sitting just off the back of the speed. And I do wonder with him, if Hugh Bowman had had this race over again, whether he would have been the horse making the early move instead of the winner, Voyage Bubble. He then gets held up for a fair part of the straight behind horses before getting outpointed late in the race. So those three cross the line with little between them, and I guess Sword Point, a little bit of a sad story. But I think the way that that Derby was run makes the form possibly misleading as we go ahead, and we'll find out more, I guess, on Sunday. But where else can we go for the winner? Well, Alacrity was not able to gain a start in the Derby, but since that time he's been able to win in Class 3, and I think that's the other major piece of form that we want to have a look at here. So this is race 548. Alacrity is in dark blue with white diamonds and light coloured sleeves, gate 14. His third very wide draw in 3 attempts in Hong Kong. Now, he begins okay, but there is pace under him, and Zac Purton steadies, looking to get closer to the rail, and has only 2 behind him by the time they settle down. Now, in contrast to the Derby, you look at the heat map here, this was run very truly. In fact, the first 4 sections were all run between half a length and 2 lengths faster than average. Nothing brutal in there, but a consistent good pace. And when it gets serious, the leaders do tire, and here is Alacrity down the middle of the track to overhaul them and to win pretty comfortably on the line. Now, unfortunately, Zac Purton had a prior commitment for this race on Sunday to Sweet Encounter, so he won't be aboard Alacrity, but Karis Teeton, who rode him in his first 2 starts, will be, so he loses nothing there. And now he's a winner up in class, something that we look for on a regular basis on this show. But I'll tell you what else we're looking at on a regular basis recently, and that is the hottest new trainer in town, Jamie Richards. Now, on this graphic, you can see how Jamie Richards' debut season in Hong Kong has gone. Now, I think both of our new trainers have done well and putting together a very good debut year. But Jamie Richards was the slowest starting new trainer in the history of Hong Kong racing, without a runner in September, without a runner until race 66 of the season. But you can see on this graph of his strike rates, the trajectory of his freshman campaign is extremely positive, and just lately he's got a real lot of momentum. If there is a negative for Alacrity, I think that the pace of the race is going to be different this time. We'll take a look at the map, and we saw him last time in a well-run race in Class 3, and I don't think he'll get that tempo here with what looks a comfortable lead for Champion Dragon, who will probably be looking to slow the speed as he did winning from the front last time. Now, most of the other forward runners are also drawn low, so there's no pressure on them to be aggressive early to get their preferred positions, and therefore I don't see a lot of pace in the race. However, Alacrity does finally have a single-digit barrier draw, which might help him to sit slightly closer, and he also produced a couple of big sprints from the rear at his first 2 Hong Kong starts without having a strong pace to help him in those. So it might not be as big a disadvantage as it first looks. So the tip in race 10, Alacrity. His winning factor, the hot yard. Well, he's certainly got everything in the form book that you'd want to see to make him a favourite here, Alacrity. And when we look at the form of his trainer, Jamie Richards, it's just an extra push. Well, that's it from the Winning Factor for this week. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.